This is a message for people who are struggling with grief, who are surrounded by people or somebody who is experiencing grief, actively grieving, or went through a loss years ago or in the beginning of their life even that is continuing to impact them today. And you are a person who would like support, affirmation, guidance, or somebody who is loving one of these people and looking to support them. And the first thing that I want to say is that grief is not a compartmentalized process that just happens right after the death, or the grieving process starts prior to death if it was a deteriorating condition. This is really, you develop a relationship to grief. That's really what it is. It is not a process to be completed. It is a relationship that you relate to for the rest of your current existence, that you will be carrying this grief. And we could also say we carry it onward into our next lives, or that right now our bodies may be encoded with grief from previous lives, and that's why maybe we're more sensitive to certain things. But I'm not even going to get into the metaphysical stuff right now, although it does tie into it intimately. But really, I just want to talk about how this grief carries on with you and how you are not a failure. There's nothing wrong with you if you are still carrying this grief forward so many years later. Even if you are, you're a grown adult and you're feeling like, why is this still impacting me? Or it comes through the cracks. And that's really just love. It's love that has no singular person to put it into, and now it is coming through in the form of grieving that loss because the love was so deep. Or I know loss is kind of complicated in a lot of situations, but we grieve people who see us, we grieve people we love, who show us love, who we are able to show love, who we appreciate. There's such a wide range of emotions that come with grief. And even if it's, a parent that you didn't get your needs met through, and there's grief through that. There's grief through missing the person, and there's grief through missing what the person was not, and what maybe you expected that role to be in your life. So grief's a really complex emotion. There's a lot of different facets to it, and there's no one right way to do it. I know that we say that, but I want you to really take a minute with that and realize that it's going to come out for you in whatever way it's meant to propel you forward, for you to feel the emotions that are stuck in your body, in your psyche about the situation. And our job is really just to hold ourselves compassionately through it. If you are experiencing a flare-up of grief for whatever reason, do not shame yourself for that. Do not tell yourself the story that this should not still be happening. Do not make yourself feel weak for that. You are strong to express, to feel your emotions. This is what strength is. Strength is not running away from something. Strength is not suppressing anything. Strength is the ability to look reality in the face for what it is and process it in every moment. And grief is a part of that. We learn the most through our transformations, and death is a huge transformation. It's a dissolution from the physical into the more energetic field. It's not a ending, but it is a big transformation, and we have to grieve what was. And especially when it's a big loss, or a parent or a sibling or a spouse, somebody that you expected for them to be in these larger moments of life for you, that's kind of the double-edged sword of grief, right? You miss things like their birthday and your birthday, and of course all of these kind of memorable holidays and things that feel so different now that they are gone. But you also experience grief through your most happy moments in life, through your own celebrations, they now have this kind of shadow of, I would really love for this person to be with me right now so I can celebrate with them. I know you're seeing me get a little choked up, and the reason why this video was even inspired was because I was sitting in my sunroom and I was just imagining, I was just pondering aging, and it's really weird to think about a moment before it happens. And I know I lost my mom, just for background, if this is the first time you're seeing my video, and she was my best friend, so there's a lot of things that I will have to go through in my life and process that she won't be here for. That's really hard to accept. So if you are grieving somebody to this depth, please allow yourself the time and the space to really feel that, and to be vulnerable with your emotions, to share with the people around you that you would like to talk about them, that you would like to talk about how it's impacting you, and to find people who love you so much to be able to hold that space for you, to be able to see you clearly, and to know that this is impacting your life. And if they love you, they want to hold you, they want to support you in that. But getting back to what I was talking about, I was processing the strangeness that will occur if I, we don't know how long we're going to be here on this earth, but I do feel like I'm going to be here for a while. If I meet my mother's age and beyond, that will be a deep, deep grief portal for me, because I can see that we gain new perspectives on people and situations and feelings and events that have happened in our lives, as we progress, as we elevate in consciousness, as we learn more, as we gain new perspective, we look at things differently. And I can imagine when I reach my mother's age, she was 47 when she passed, this will be an intense grief portal, and I'm preemptively just thinking about it and seeing how so many people just gloss over the impact of loss in their life, and it really will come up through the cracks. You're kind of like an energetic volcano that's going to blow in these certain areas. Maybe it's sadness, maybe it is an expression of the happiness that you had when you were with them. So many different things. So I want you to actively realize when this loss is impacting you. Give it space, give it time to journal. These beings that have passed on, that have transitioned, that have impacted your life, they are still here. They are still here, whether it's in a different dimension or they are no longer carrying the identity of what they were in the past life. The energy that they are has not gone anywhere. It is transformed. Maybe it's in a more expansive state. Maybe they have transitioned to another life form, but we are all intimately connected here. And if you are thinking about them, if you are talking to them, they can receive that. So the more open you are to your channel, to your psychic abilities, which, by the way, we all have, it's the people who call themselves psychics have just attuned themselves more to it. Of course, there's some natural born psychics with just abilities from a young age, but honestly, we can all nurture our capacity to be more open to the energetic world, to receive past loved ones, their signs. They are always communicating with us, and if we are open to receiving it, we will see it. It comes through the form of flickering lights, synchronicities, songs that you will hear at certain moments, dates, numbers. So really just be open to all of the ways that these beings are trying to communicate with you. And this will have such a huge shift on your perception of death if this is not already what you see and what you experience. But I have known several people who have lost people close to them, and a lot of them can feel them after death. They smell their perfume. They are receiving signs from them, guidance. So I want you to rest in your heart knowing that even though your human experience was impacted by this death, they are still here. Please rest in that knowing. It's a beautiful knowing, and there's still tragedy to having to live your human life without your person. But I'm sure you have gained so much in your perception, in your ability to be loving, to be empathetic, to sit with someone in their grief, to really appreciate life for what it is, for you to take every moment as it could be your last. And honestly, those of us who have suffered big loss, you have nothing left to lose. You're like, let me just live the best life ever. And sometimes you're gonna fall into those holes of grief that feel really tough to handle. And sometimes it's really isolating if you don't really have much family or any friends nearby. Please do what you can to prioritize in-person love, in-person connection, whether it's through groups or seeking out friends, because especially in the Western world, we have learned not to prioritize that. We overwork ourselves, and that's a slow death of yourself. And your person would absolutely want you to be living with as much life zest and love for the world and love for this current life as you possibly can. So I hope this helped you in some way or made you feel seen in your process. I love you so much, each and every one of you, and I will talk to you soon.